Welcome those making their first communion this coming spring. We're going to be one of the things you received this last fall was this first communion catechism right here, as well as this little book with essentially the questions that go along with it. So you're going to fill those answers in. So I'm going to do the first couple chapters. Maybe you've already started. Maybe you've already completed all the chapters, the 11 chapters in here, and got all the questions done. Great. If you haven't, I'm going to go through the first 2 chapters with you. Just a note, some of the prayers. So the Our Father, the sign of the cross, the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Glory Be. 4 prayers very much need to know. All right, I'll have another video on praying those prayers as well as the act of contrition. But let's go on to lesson 1. All right. God made us. The purpose of man's existence. Who made me? God made me. God made me out of nothing. He made me because he loves me. He gave me to my mother and father. They take care of me. They take God's place. I belong to God because he made me. Did God make all things? Yes, God made all things. God made the earth and the sky. God also made the sun. God made the moon and the stars. God made night and day. God made rain and snow. God made hills and mountains. God made oceans and rivers. God made the trees and flowers. God made all animals, big and little. God made the fishes in the water. God made the birds in the sky. Page 2. God made the angels. Angels are spirits. They have no bodies. They know much more than we do. They have great power. The angel who helps me is my guardian angel. He is with me all the time. He keeps me from danger. He helps me to think of God. Okay, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were the first man and woman. God made the sun and the moon for them. God made the trees and flowers for them. God made the animals for them. God made the birds and the fishes for them. God made the birds. God made all these things for them to use. God made the world for all of us. So why did God make you? God made you to show his goodness and to made me to show his goodness and to make me happy with him in heaven. God is good. God made me because he is good. God is always happy. He wants everyone to be happy. God made me to be happy with him forever. I cannot be happy without God. I need God. Heaven is God's home. Everybody in heaven is happy. To be happy forever, we must go to heaven. Earth is the place where we will get ready for heaven. What must you do to be happy with God in heaven? To be happy with God in heaven, I must know him, love him, and serve him in this world. First, I must know God. I cannot love God unless I know him well. To know God, I must study my catechism. This is your catechism right here. I must think about God every day. I must pray to God. Most of all, I must love God. We give thanks to those we love. I must make my life a gift to God. I must love God more than I love myself. I must love God more than I love anybody else. I must love God above all things. To show God I love him, I must serve him. I serve God when I pray well. I try to think of God. I serve God when I work well. I study hard at school and home. I serve God when I play well. I try to be fair and not selfish. I must not offend God by sin. I must want to please him. It is not always easy to please God. What pleases him sometimes does not please us. I must please God rather than myself. This shows God I love him more than myself. Shall I be selfish and please myself? Or shall I share and please God? When I am selfish, I do not please God. When I am kind to others, I please God. To be happy, I must please God in everything. All right, that's the end of the chapter there. So we can turn to our first chapter. I don't have a staple in mine, but you should in your book here. So lesson 1, why do you belong to God? You know why you belong to God? Because God made me. Why does God want me to get to heaven? To be happy. You could say even to be eternally, that's an E, eternally, forever happy. You could say to be happy forever. Oh, no room. What 3 things must I do to be happy with God? I need to, what's the first one? I need to know God. 2, love God. And 3, serve God. Okay, don't recommend using a Sharpie when you're doing this. It's a marker. Use a pencil or pen, but pencil. But I'm just doing it so you can see me writing it down here. Okay. But let's go on to chapter 2. God is great. Where is God? God is everywhere. God is with us. God is on earth. God is in the sky. God is in all places, but heaven is God's home. He also lives in souls that are pleasing to him. Does God know all things? Yes, God knows all things. God knows all things on earth. God knows all things in heaven. God knows what happened long ago. God knows what we are doing now. God knows what is going to happen. God knows when we are good. God knows when we are bad. God sees all the things we do. God knows even what we are thinking. God watches us because he loves us. He wants to keep us from harm. He wants to keep us from hurting ourselves. Can God do all things? Yes, God can do all things. God can make anything. God can change anything. God can change us and make us better if we let him. God gives us all the help we need. God always helps us when we ask him. Asking him to help us is called prayer. Did God have a beginning? No, God did not have a beginning. He always was. The earth had a beginning. The sun and moon and stars had a beginning. The angels had a beginning. We had a beginning. God gave everything a beginning. Only God had no beginning. God was never born. Will God always be? Yes, God will always be. God can never die. He will live forever. All right. Some question. Oh, let's go down here. This is a little bonus section here. Some things I see in church. So the holy water font is near the door. Holy water is blessed to protect us, and I make the sign of the cross with it when I enter church. So I take some of the holy water, make the sign of the cross, reminding us of our baptism. The sanctuary lamp burns all the time. It burns before Jesus in the tabernacle. It takes the place of our heart. So many churches in St. Joseph and St. Francis, it's a red. There's a candle and it's red. It's in a red kind of glass. So it's kind of first, when that's lit, that means Jesus is present in the Eucharist in the tabernacle. The confessional is the place where we go to confession. All right, you'll get to see that in person at your workshop. See the inside of the confessional. Let's do this. Lesson 2. What does God know? Everything. What can God do? everything or all things, anything. Let's see here. All can do any. Let's see. Probably anything would be better. Anything. Why does God watch over us? Because he loves us. Right? He watches over us kind of like your parents watch over you because they love you. They want you to be safe. They care for you. So here are just the first 2 lessons. There are 11 lessons total. And don't use a marker, otherwise it's going to have like this. See, like this stuff on the other side. So I'm just doing this so you can see it. I recommend using a pencil. I believe these will be due at the end of kind of January or February. I'd have to look up exactly when I had them due. At least before your first, before we do our workshop this spring for reconciliation and First Holy Communion. Hope this video is helpful. God bless.